Hi everybody, welcome to English 113 Technical Communication. My name is Ray Lucina. I'm the prop for the class. I'll be kind of guiding you through all of this for the next 7 weeks. I want to give you a quick overview of the course site and how all of this is going to work. Now, you have to watch this video carefully, and I'm going to be asking that you refer back to this before you post questions to the help forum. You're always welcome to ask questions, but one thing I've noticed is sometimes some of the confusion that arises, I'll get questions that will indicate that people maybe skipped some of the reading that I've asked them to do right up front, or some of the viewing I've asked them to do right up front. So of course, if you're confused, don't hesitate to ask a question, but do be sure you've read everything, reviewed everything, and then of course watch this video this week right away. And then if you're still confused, if something slips your mind, that's okay. But there is nothing more annoying for an instructor who's invested a lot of time putting together these preliminary materials than to get questions that really make it pretty clear whoever's asking did not bother to take the time to view everything and read everything. So do all of that. The first thing you need to read carefully is the Welcome to 113 announcement here, which will give you a few quick highlights on really what's important to succeed in this class and in any online class. And let me just hit a few of those with you. First of all, you got to give yourself a lot of time. This is a 7-week course in which you are accomplishing the same amount of work as you would accomplish in a 15-week course, which means we're doing a lot. This very first week, you'll be introducing yourself. You'll be drafting a resume if you haven't done so far. You'll be reading 2 chapters from your text. You'll be taking a quiz on those 2 chapters. And then next week, finishing that resume and cover letter, reading additional chapters, completing an audience and use. It's a lot of stuff, and you have to be on top of it. So carve out regular time throughout the week to work. And keep on top of the deadlines. You're going to typically have 2. And I just noticed the days here are wrong. I have to correct that because our course is starting midweek. I typically have things coming in on Thursdays and Sundays. I'm reworking that now. Your initial work each week will be due on Sunday, and your final work, follow-up posts, quizzes, things like that will be due on Tuesday, with a new week then again starting on Wednesday. And that's because we're starting on a Wednesday this time out, so I'm going to edit that out. But keep on top of those deadlines. The initial work is typically reading and a discussion post, and then preliminary writing and work for that discussion post. The follow-up work will be additional revisions. Your quiz will always be due the last day of the week, and then follow-up responses to that initial discussion post. I'm going to show you a rubric I want you to read carefully for discussion board posts, but I'm going to tell you this right now. To get full credit for each week's discussion, you have to make the initial post. It has to be substantial. That means you answer the question thoroughly. You give lots of details. Usually that means 400, 500, 600 word responses minimum. And you also have to respond to 3 to 4 of your classmates' posts as well. If you don't do that, you don't get full credit, and that's spelled out in the rubric. If you kind of fall down on that the first week, I will tell you in my comments. But after the first week or so, I'm going to rely on you to look at the rubric to figure out what went wrong if you don't get full points. If it's something unusual, I'll mention it. Or if it's something that needs clarification, I'll mention it in the comments. But if it's just a matter of not having written a very short initial post, or not having responded to other student posts, I'm not going to spend a lot of time typing those in. I'll include that in the rubric feedback that you'll get. Okay, you've got to read the book. So number 4 here, you've got to read the book. Oh, number 3 is be aware that we're going to be multitasking. You have to do more than one thing at a time in here. That would be kind of to be assumed, because in a face-to-face class you're doing lots of things all at once. Okay, read your textbook. I'm going to give you mini lectures highlighting main ideas, but you've got to read the textbook. The textbook is really the lecture in this class. It's extremely important. In my face-to-face 113 classes, it's important, even more so online, because we don't have that day-to-day interaction in the classroom. You really need to read the text. It's clearly laid out, very detailed. You'll be using it to craft everything you write for this course. So you need to read the text. Okay? Now, a few things to note. What I want you to do is live in this content area of the course. This is where I'm going to be outlining everything for you. Now, one thing you're going to notice over here, you will have upcoming deadlines for some of the assessments I put in already. Okay? And you can click on these and they'll take you here and there, but I want you, everything I've put together for the course, I've tried to lay out in a logical way in content, kind of in a sequence. Now I'm going to say two things. First of all, I've not taught this course online for about a year and a half, which means for some reason my previous run of the course disappeared from the system. I know they can't keep things in e-learning for too long because they take up space and they've got to clear it out. Now that's both a good and a bad thing for you. It's a good thing because I'm redesigning the course in a way that I really haven't. I've added to it, I've tweaked, but when you've got that old course to import, oh, and I just noticed this is 111. I have to change that to 113. I will be editing that initial announcement for you shortly, at any rate. Uh, I've been revising the course but not making significant changes. So I'm trying to make significant changes this time out since I have to redo everything anyhow. One of the changes I'm making is I used to use the checklists in D2L in e-learning to tell you what's due each week. I'm trying something new now. So in the first week or so, if there's a lot of confusion over deadlines, I'll go back to those checklists, but I'm going to show you where I put them. Among the things I've done is actually plug in dates into the course calendar. What that means is, though, you've got to look out for the times that things are due. Okay? Typically, it's going to be midnight the day that the assignment's due. Okay? This one is midnight, July 13th. That's actually July 12th. I may edit that when the time comes to give you the extra day. I'll take a look at it. But just look at this stuff carefully. Don't let that confuse you. If you have any questions about the due date, I'll show you where to post those questions. Okay? Here in the content area of the course is where you're going to see everything you need to get up and running and then to know what's what and what we're doing when. Okay, so far the first 2 weeks have been posted, though I'm still doing some of the videos for the presentations for the second week's class. So Unit 1, which focuses on audience analysis and persuasion, and which culminates in you writing a resume, Unit 1's here already. I'm going to be working ahead of you. I hope to get the rest of the units posted within the next week or two so that you have the whole class laid out for you. But like I said, because I'm redeveloping everything kind of unexpectedly, I hadn't realized the old courses had gone. I'm a little bit behind on posting stuff. But again, like I said, it's going to, I hope, work in your favor because I'm trying to do things in a different way that might make things clearer and more interesting. So, course resources begin here. Read the syllabus very carefully. Okay, and again, if there's stuff in the syllabus that you're asking me questions about in such a way that I know you haven't read the syllabus, I will get very annoyed. Read the student resources and responsibilities. This is the document that is from the catalog. It outlines all the stuff that you are held responsible for, things like academic integrity, things like disruptive behavior. I don't have problems with those in these classes, but it's important to be aware that those are possibilities. You can be disruptive online, and obviously cheating is a possibility online. Accidental plagiarism is also an issue. It won't get you kicked out of the class or reprimanded, but it will have you failing the assignment that you've accidentally plagiarized. And grading criteria for writing is essentially my writing rubric. And when I grade your work, there'll be a rubric that will actually assign points to these. Okay, read that carefully. And then finally, and this is very important, this is the rubric for the discussion board participation. And it will show you how to earn full points. So for example, frequency participates 4 to 5 times throughout the week. What does that mean? Your initial post plus 3 to 4 follow-up posts to your classmates. Okay, I'm also going to link to in here, I forgot to do it before I did this video, I will link to a forum I'm going to show you in just a second called the Help Forum. Okay, then Unit 1. What you are going to see when you go into each unit is when you click on the unit, you're going to get a list of activities with dates involved. At the very top, I'm going to give you the main reading that's going to be due. There's actually an error here. I'm sorry, I fixed this in the module. I have to fix it here. For this first week, you'll be reading the first 2 chapters in Latin. For week 2, you'll be reading 3 and 17 completely. But I've also assigned some pages from 16 that will help you write your cover letter for your resume. So I'll fix that as well before the course actually opens up. So when you're actually looking in the course later on, that should be fixed. If it's not, just let me know. It means something distracted me. I'm here with my 9-year-old son who's home from school, so I'm between entertaining him and designing this course. Okay, beneath each general module, this is Unit 1, okay? you will have the weekly modules in that unit. So this first unit is going to be 2 weeks. So week 1 will be July 1st, Wednesday, to the 7th, which is next week. Week 2, July 8th through the 14th. Okay, so you'll know the span of each week, so you know where we're at in the course at any given time. At the very top, I will list the main tasks you have to accomplish. So you'll begin with reviewing course resources for this first week. Read all that stuff carefully. You will then move on to reading the first 2 chapters in Latin. You'll watch the presentations if I provided them, and I have. You'll take part in our first discussion, and then you'll take the week 1 reading quiz. Okay, here are our first 2 presentations. I apologize, they're not super exciting, but they're hitting. I pulled out the publisher PowerPoints, and then I hit highlights in those from my own experience and the things that I look at as I assess and things I recommend you be aware of as you write. Okay, our first discussion post, and again, the due dates are here. Your initial post will be due Sunday, with the follow-ups due on the 7th, which is Tuesday. When you click on here, it will take you to that discussion question. Now, it's quite detailed, so you have to read it carefully. What you're essentially doing with this first discussion post, 2 things. Sharing a draft of your resume. You don't have to have yet read the stuff on resumes, because I want you to have a basic draft to revise. If you have a resume right now, share that. If you don't, then just use the Word template to start gathering the information, just plug in the information. We have to look carefully at the language of the resume and the format of the resume to make sure it's targeted well. But just to get stuff down, that's fine. Okay? Your initial post, which should be minimum 400 to 500 words, will introduce yourself to me and to the rest of the class using these questions. You will attach your resume to the post using enriched text format, and I'll show you the button to press to do that in just a second. Okay? And then after you've made this general introduction, then I want you to draw from your resume and just talk about which of the jobs on there has been your favorite and why, and what accomplishment at work or school are you most proud of and why. Okay? So use your post to introduce yourself and then to add a little bit of flesh to the resume. Tell us some personal stuff about some of the stuff on the resume. That's kind of a glimpse into what you're going to have to do when you write your cover letter. And then the follow-ups, again, 3 to 4 minimum. I won't remind you of that every week. This first week I'm giving you additional information, but from here on out you're expected to know that. The only time you won't have 3 to 4 posts is if I say there are no posts, and that I will tell you. If it says nothing, then you've got to assume 3 to 4 follow-up posts are required. Okay, and here in your follow-up post, you can start off by commenting on anything you want to. Ask a question, add to something. If someone has a similar interest, mention that. Okay, but then I want you to pick one thing from the resume to comment on or ask about. And again, it can be anything: education, experience, whatever. But try to find something that's either confusing or especially interesting or whatever, just something to comment on. Now, the key with these follow-up posts is they also have to be kind of substantial. They don't have to be as long as the initial post, but you can't say, yeah, I really like what you said, or yeah, I agree with you. You've got to say something specific. Okay, these are conversations. This is really the heart of the course. This is our in-class standing around together talking about stuff. Okay, now one really important thing. There is an attendance policy imposed by the English division, which I agree with. They don't make me do it. I agree with it, which is if you miss 2/15ths of a class, right, the instructor has the right to drop you. What that means here is, first of all, 2/15ths of the class is only 1 week. In other words, in a 15-week class, it'd be 2 weeks worth of work. Here, it's only 1 week. If you don't post to the discussion forum or take the reading quiz for a week, I can drop you. Now, I will first reach out to you. But if you're not showing up and doing the work, you're not present in the class. Logging in is not enough to be counted present in the class. Okay? So back here again to Unit 1, and then you'll see the other thing due this week is the reading quiz. Oh, that's week 2. Week 1 is the reading quiz. Week 2, by the end of week 2, you'll also have posted your cover letter and resume. We again have a discussion, reading quiz, the dates there. I will be adding 3 presentations in here, just as I have up here. I just haven't recorded those yet. Okay, the last thing I just said I was going to show you, then I backed out because I forgot, is how to upload. If you start your post by clicking on Start a New Thread. Okay, enter the subject. I'm going to tell you always what subject to enter. So introduction to Ray. And I will have my introduction posted by the time you log in here. Then in order to find and add a file, you click on Add Attachments and Upload. And this will take you to the typical uploading Dropbox that lets you find on your computer whatever file you want to upload. So you're going to attach this week your resume. Do that in rich text or Word format, please, so people can open it. And if you're not sure how to produce either of those, drop me an email or post something to the help forum. And then here is where you will write the body of your introduction post. Okay, and then one last thing I wanted to show you. Over here in discussions, there's something called the help forum. If you've got a question related to deadlines or something that's kind of confusing, something in the text that's confusing even in one of the lectures, or just what's going on, what's expected, post your question here. I will usually be the one who answers, but if I'm not on, if it's a weekend or if I'm out and about or something like that, and one of your classmates knows the answer, or if you see a question and you know the answer, go ahead and post the answer here, please. Okay? If you have a question about your grade or your paper, something specific to you, I would ask that you email me, please. And you will notice on the syllabus, I don't have office hours because it's a summer course. I'm not physically on campus, but I am absolutely available to you. So if you need to meet me, or you want to talk on the phone or do a Skype meeting or something like that, just drop me an email and we'll set it up. Okay, I can go to campus. I don't live very far away. I'm around most of the summer. I just don't have regular hours on campus because I'm not meeting classes on campus this summer. But I'm more than happy to meet you on campus if you have concerns. I'm more than happy to talk to you on the phone if you have questions and concerns or just need some help. And I'm more than happy to meet you in Skype or something if you have questions or concerns or need some help. Okay, it's a long introductory video, and I apologize for that. But again, this is important groundwork for the course. Most important thing, if you get confused, ask. I am here to help you get through this with flying colors. Okay, so let's dive in.